So this is a quick tour of our footings. A good percentage of recycled aggregate and also fly ash in the mix. You put it all in and then you start vibrating it and it just starts going. So never underestimate the hydraulic pressure of wet concrete. It's a mortarless system, so they all interlock like Lego blocks. At the bottom of our hole for our underground tanks, just what we wanted. Comes away, it's a bit shaly, but we'll have to get the rock breaker in for sure. We're about at depth, right where I'm standing here. But you can see we've got a good metre of rock to get out. Not fun. And tank deliveries in 2 days in the morning, so we've got 1 day to dig it, break all this and dig it out. See how we go, eh? Should be interesting. Started off with this retaining wall through here. Has a big toe footing all through it, coming out so that the wall doesn't tilt over. Big toe to hold it from tilting over. And on top of that will go our garage slab. The edge of the garage slab is just here. And then all of this back on the other side is carport. And then up the driveway up there. On here sit 2 slimline water tanks. I had to do a bit of a cutout of the side of the hill to sit them down a bit lower, because these 2 take the lower story gutter rainwater, and to get the correct amount of pressure on the sealed system to get the water in, I had to get them this low. So then up there, when that gets done, will be another pad. And there we'll sit 2 more tanks for the second story rainwater. And all of this is just detention. So that all drains into the tanks, which are now under our feet here. Sort of 2 manholes you can see here. So they go down 3.7 meters from here. And yeah, that's our retaining wall. So edge of the garage is here, and then the house starts. So the house footings we did in three stages. We did the bores, so we have to do bored piers all the way down to rock. Because all of this is clay and in a flood zone, and we have the well, there's a fair bit of ground heave. So the engineer wanted us to pin it all the way down to rock. So there's a bunch of bored piers, 50 in total, that we had to drill through, and there's a layer of river stone as well, which we have to get through. And then I don't know if you can see in the piles there, there's all these little stones. but it's hard for the digger boring them out of the clay anyway, so that took a while. And then we did this first section and we could get the trucks in and pour this first section. Then we did the middle section there, bored them, poured the board holes, and then dug the strip footings over the top of them, then poured the strip footings. And now we're up to the third section and final section for the house. There'll be another set of strip footings that come through here, so you can see what the bored holes look like before they get concrete in them. And actually here you can see what they look like when they do have the concrete. Let's say here, so our strip footing will come through these starter bars. They hook over all the steel work and hold it all together. So yeah, that's roughly how it is. Here actually we've got a bit of a doozy. You can see the tank right in there under the ground. So had a bit of a collapse and a fall away of the backfill. A bit of rock ended up in that section. Not ideal. Oh well, more concrete will end up in there. All of this is Envirocrete, which has a good percentage of recycled aggregate and also fly ash in the mix. So it is a lot of concrete. I don't like it, but we have minimized it by not doing a slab and just doing strip footings. So we're trying to do our best here. But yeah, every time I order 4 cubes, 10 cubes, I always feel guilty about that. But yeah, so that's what our bore holes sort of look like. Some of them go pretty deep. And we're meant to hit rock. You can't really see rock. Oh yeah, here you can see a scraping of it in the bottom of this one. So this is the bedrock that we want to hit through the river stone. But yeah, sometimes you can see a little bit of dirt always falls back in, and the auger can't always scrape the very bottom out. This is the one I was doing just before. So yeah, they're good fun. This is the one next to the well. We hit bedrock in that one too. I don't know if you can see. So we had to put this well casing in to support the well, because this holds one of the veranda posts. I know it's not a lot of weight, but because of the ground heave, we still need to pin that down. We don't want any parts of the house moving independently. So yeah, then some strip footings, you know, they come through, the already poured ones. We dig them out in between, and then lay the plastic and put our bar work in, and then get the trucks in. And we did it this way in 3 stages, just so we could save on a pumper truck. They're about $1,000 for half a day, so not fun. So we did it in stages. Plenty of starter bars in the coal joints, and good overlapping, and all of this, you know, shouldn't get much water on it, apart from the flood event, but that's never going to happen. So yeah, it should be nice and dry under here, and the concrete will take the weight. This is actually where the brick pantry will sit, on this section here. And here I'm already running some pipes out towards the well. So this one comes up here, and we'll take the ag drain from behind the retaining wall. There's another outlet right up the other end there. Will come out, and I'll take them into the well. They won't have too much moisture, and then from the well there's an overflow which goes out to the creek as well. And then here's our sewer. And when I ran the sewer, I also ran a water pipe for a garden tap down there, so bring those 2 through. Got to build a retaining wall along this strip footing here, and then that will hold this ground level here for a sort of a path down to the garage. This sewer will come all the way through here and punch through into my subfloor. I'm standing in my bathroom ensuite right now, so straight into there. Then over there is our wash closet. That can come in. Kitchen is there. I might punch through again over there just so it's a shorter run. We'll see what the plumber says, how he wants to run it. And then from the second story bathroom, it'll come down into our laundry, which is just here, and then connect to the same location there. So yeah, that's about it. This is a bit of a footing we had to bring through for the retaining wall. That'll get starter bars bored into it as well. And then our garage footing, this will all get cut back through here, a little step and straight through there. Then we'll have a poured concrete retaining wall here. It's a little bit cheaper to pour it out of concrete than to build it out of the block work. Not sure if it's going to be any easier. Need to get a whole lot of formwork. When we did this one here, I didn't have anywhere good to brace back to. This was all had stuff, all these pallets were out here, wasn't as tidy, and we were having the wheelbarrow along here and core filling all of this. We were mixing everything by hand once again, so we didn't have to get a concrete truck and going up about 4 lifts at a time. And yeah, getting up into the higher ones, you can imagine lifting a shovel of cement out of the wheelbarrow. It was good fun, good shoulder workout. But here, when we poured this little retaining wall, I formed that up, and the whole thing started sliding back. We had every bag of cement that I had bought, about 20 bags of cement, which is about 400 kilos or something, on here, and all braced. And then we got another whole bunch of bags up there and kept piling weight on, but it was just slipping because I didn't want to bore anything into here to pin it down. In the end, I ended up putting some pins in here and back bracing it again. Somehow we managed it, but yeah, the hydraulic pressure of concrete, you always underestimate it. I've done it plenty of times, but I thought, oh, you know, we should be able to get away with it. And you put it all in and then you start vibrating it and it just starts going. So never underestimate the hydraulic pressure of wet concrete. It's amazing what it can do. But we got it there and it's all good. Ended up pushing some of it back and bashing it a bit, and it went all right. But here, for this long one, it's 20 meters, and it's all probably 2, 4, 6, 8, you know, the whole way along it'll probably be between that depth and that depth, so more than what we had here. But at least there we can really set some good pins into the soil and really brace it off. I'll try get some footage of that as well. But yeah, it's coming together slowly. A few hiccups, a few big rain events, always dodgy with the concrete trucks coming in after a rain. Gets a bit slippery. We finally have power on site up here, which is nice. That was another big debacle. I had it before I had them booked before we had built the retaining wall, and I had set up a scaffold here for them to stand on and connect it all up, and sent the photos off to the electricians who organise it with the power networks. And they sent it to the power networks. Power networks came back, no, we don't do that. It's got to be off a permanent fixed structure. Basically how it's going to be whenever somebody comes and tests the meter. So then I delayed it for a month, built my retaining wall. I ended up chem setting some starter bars in here and putting this garden gate here, and we've planted a little, I think that's a passion fruit up here, which would grow nicely across it. And yeah, then they ended up connecting our power. So yeah, we have 3-phase power up there. Got the conduit coming under for the connection to the house. The 3-phase was mainly for solar, so that we could export, and the electrician recommended it for the induction stove. So, you know, that peak draw of the induction stove switching on, might need it, but hopefully eventually we'll have a battery and we can mostly rely on the battery in the evening. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. You know, the site's a bit of a bombshell, mainly because of all these piles of dirt. We're gonna have to clean that up, and then yeah, I'll be building where all these starter bars are poking out. I'll be building some blockwork piers all up to the underfloor level, and then when my timber arrives, I set out all my timber framing for the floor on top of those blockwork piers. So, and we've collected a bunch of recycled blocks that were all going to get binned and stacked them down at the back there. We've got a bunch of bricks that we're going to use as well for the pantry. So where we can, we're recycling, but these blocks, they were pretty good. You can see here they're actually not conventional, where you have the ends sealed in. You've got two edges, but you know, it's a mortarless system, so they all interlock like Lego blocks. One can fit on top of the other, and these little tabs, as you can see, just allow them to interlock. So you can see here, I didn't have to mortar any of them. I just ended up dry stacking them for 4 lifts at a time, and core filling them, and just making sure I kept straight and plumb and true as I went along, by jamming in, you know, sometimes you need to jam in a little packer like this at the front or at the back. And go on the 4 lifts at a time was good as well, because you can reach down behind and paint the waterproofing on. I've got those buckets of the bitumen stuff there. We painted the whole backside, as well as I don't know if you can see, maybe there's an unfinished bit here, as well as the plastic from the footings went all the way down under the footing, up around the footing, and then up the backside of the retaining wall. So we've got the waterproofing, and then the plastic as well as a bit of a protection and waterproofing as well. So most of the moisture will get caught by the plastic, but the bitumen's always good as a second layer. And then this tape, actually, this is the Pro Climber tape. We've got a bunch of it from some training days and just samples, and we started using it, and it's a great tape for because it's pressure applied, it'll stick to anything. It's an expensive way to do it, but it works a treat. If you can get yourself some free samples, it works really well. And this has been Chris's little project, putting all the caps on the top, so they come up all right. They don't make a cap specifically for this blockwork. It's for standard blockwork with mortar joints, so these caps are actually 390 long, whereas the blocks are exactly 400. So you have to do your mortar joins in the caps, and as well, if you leave those little lugs on that are on top of the blockwork, these ones, I just sat the cap on top of there, put my mortar bed on top and wriggled it down till it sat on there. Then you can see makes this nice gap. But where you have that rebate from the dry stacking, so you have that as well. And then I just got my little brickies perp wiper, or whatever you call them, to wipe the perps clean. And yeah, that's how they went on. So yeah, it was a pretty epic project, this retaining wall, actually. Bigger than I expected, but that's always what happens, isn't it? So with these footings, with all the 50 bore holes. Yeah, that's about it. Progress at the block. We'll have it up in no time. All right.